Hi, this is Chris Driscoll, and I'm going to be sharing my infographic that I created for the visual literacy section of the course. I created this infographic with Pictochart. I teach middle school language arts, so I have a sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade class. This infographic is going to be focused for my sixth grade grammar course, where we one of the things that we really focus on is the writing process. I was trying to think of something that I could use for an infographic that number one was a step-by-step kind of order type of thing, and two, something that I actually need a good wall chart for, because I actually hope to be able to print out this infographic in poster size and be able to use it on my wall during the section of our course where we use the writing process. The infographic will, number one, again, be a poster on the wall to reinforce as we go through. And then also I'll be able to share the digital version of the infographic with the students so that they can refer to it when they're working at home if need be. Like I said, I used Pictochart to make this. I went through a lot of their templates, found one that kind of had a style that I liked, keeping in mind some of the color theory things that we've design aspects that we covered in the course. And found one that I really liked the color scheme. I had to change a lot of the images and take away some sections, add a few sections in, duplicate and alter a few sections. I changed almost all of the images in it to really fit my topic of the writing process, and we'll kind of cover that as I go through the infographic itself. So here we have our title slide. Again, fairly straightforward. Used an image that had kind of the same color elements as the rest of the infographic. As I scroll through the whole thing, you'll see it kind of has shades of blues and purples, a lot of dark colors, alternating between the dark and light sections, again, to kind of break it up for the eye. There's kind of a lot of writing on it. I tried to break up all the sections into small, bite-sized bits so that it can be easily handled per section, and used the same color and font for all the subtitles as we went through, again, to give it some consistency and to really kind of bring home some of those visual elements. So after the title slide, the second aspect, and again, all of these, what I really liked about Pictochart and their template layout was that each of these can be used as slides in a slideshow as well, so that as I'm initially discussing the topic, I can actually use these slides individually, so that when they do go back and refer to the chart, it looks familiar, but it's in a different format than just a regular slide deck. So I did appreciate that aspect of Pictochart in this setup of the infographics. But for step one, again, just kind of getting some of the basic information out there. They're going to have the ability to discuss this and work on this in class. But again, this infographic is something that will go back with them to reinforce and to keep the information in its bite-sized chunks in front of them. Instead of just following right after it with the same slide, it kind of alternates sides, giving a little breakup, yet almost a sense of parody. It switches from dark background with light text to the light background with dark text. But again, it's kind of a mirror image of itself. So the picture is now on the opposite side. Again, small paragraphs of writing, just reminding them, reinforcing the concepts and the ideas. I played around with a version of this where in some of the spaces here in the slides, I had some tokens or little extra little bits of clip art or icons, and it really kind of muddled it. I want the information to kind of come forward. But the slides, the images, do kind of reinforce that and give them some idea. I've got the image of a person kind of gathering documents and materials for the pre-writing stage, and then when it comes to drafting, is the action of actual writing. I want them to realize that this is when that kind of begins and takes place. The real emphasis for my infographic really lies here in the middle slide of steps 3 and 4. I feel like this is where my students and the years of me teaching this kind of get caught up and confused about the difference between revision and editing. So I brought them into one slide. They had this kind of, it says verses, but it really kind of emphasizes the differences, even though they are similar. So I was able to use this slide format that they had to highlight not only what each step is, but the way that the differences are. Try to make the information kind of mirror from one side to the other so that, again, it'd be visually appealing. But that the content is here, and then if they are having issues, what is revision, what is editing, they're able to go back specifically to this one section of the infographic and really get that information. And then again, from slide 1, we have the writing on the right. It moves over to a left-based slide, and then here we kind of have it in columns down the middle, again, kind of changing up the visuals, engaging, hopefully engaging their attention and their aesthetics. And then finally, with our publish slide, have a entirely different colored background to kind of signal that we're changing the way it goes. But again, the color of the background is used in the other slides, so it does, again, hopefully brings that same color connection from the infographic. And then it gets out the information that they need. For source materials that it had at the bottom, I just made sure that it was known that this was a pictochart graphic. Most of this comes from just my knowledge that I've gained over my training to know what the writing process is. I didn't actually use any kind of text to explain it, so all the pictures and images came from pictographs, so that's why I just made sure that pictochart got the reference there. So that is my infographic. I'm actually fairly pleased with the way it looks. I hope to be able to print it out and see how dynamic it may look for a poster. I know that my students really appreciate some of the things that are designed in a less kiddish way for them. So it looks sort of businessy formal, but in my experience with these students, this is one of the things that works best with them, and I hope you like it, and I look forward to hearing your feedback. I learned a lot in this unit, and I hope to continue making some things for my students. Thank you.